Hi, hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Now, today let's start off with looking at the Bitcoin charts first, right? So yesterday, it was very good news for the community because Bitcoin price shot up, right, above 4,050 level, which is a key level that need to break. And then the next level is 4,200. But unfortunately, today it has dropped back down. But the good news is that at the time of recording, it is still holding up above 4,000 level. And let's hope that, right, and fingers crossed, and my fingers is literally physically crossed, and that it holds up, right? And let's move on to the news. Now, Bitcoin cynic who shorted $20,000 BTC top questions Wall Street narrative. So, as you know, right, this is basically following the CBOE saying that they will stop issuing any more new Bitcoin futures, right? And now Mark Dow has put a negative spin to this occurrence, yeah. And in his tweet, he said, all joking aside, since I had to roll my Bitcoin exposure each one last year, I saw that the liquidity got worse every time. Hard to buy the story about broadening institutional adoption when you see this. So what happened was, right, Mark Dow is the guy, and he is a very good technical chartist. That means he's very good in his technical analysis, and he has correctly looked and seen, and he predicted that the Bitcoin price will really crash down since end of 2017. And since then, he's actually sold off all his Bitcoins, and since then he has entered into shorting Bitcoin futures. That means he's betting that the prices of Bitcoin will decline, and ever since till today, he's still doing that. Now he has actually gone on to Twitter and basically said, right, because of the CBOE stopping their Bitcoin futures, he see this as a negative indication that, the institutional money, which a lot of people are expecting, and including myself, right, because I've seen the facts, that he is saying, no, this is no longer true. And this is a clear sign, right, that the CBOE stopping the Bitcoin futures is a clear sign that the argument or the expectation that institutions are going to come in and invest a lot of money into crypto is no longer true. This is what he is saying now. But another guy, right, similarly, Joe Weisenthal, also similarly, he is saying that, right, the idea that crypto futures and crypto custody solutions would unleash a tidal wave of institutional money is one of the most busted negatives of the last year. Similarly, these two persons are saying the same thing. He said that basically CBOE stopping their futures are, making this argument or this expectation that institutional big money will come into the space are no longer valid, right? And for that, I actually want to, put a very strong statement down, right, that this is not true. We have seen already a lot of facts, right? It's no longer an expectation or a prediction anymore. It is a fact that the institutions are coming in, though they are very slowly, right? Some of them are more gung-ho or more aggressive than others, but most of them is a minority of institutions, right, that already have crypto. This is according to the Fidelity firm, right? The Fidelity is a very, very credible name, right? And they have come out to say that they have done a survey of 145 of their institutional clients, and out of that, 22%, right, of them already have crypto and plan to double that crypto holdings over the next 5 years. And for the rest, what is stopping them is just two things. One is education. The other thing is the volatility. That means they hope that the prices are more stable before they have more confidence to go in, right? Now, that's a fact. Second fact is that the first pension fund already, right, were convinced by, and that is in Fairfax County in Virginia. They have already invested in a crypto-related firm's funds, right? And that is convinced by Morgan Craig Anthony Pompliano. And up to 15% of this fund can invest directly into crypto, although now that it cannot, but it is just a matter of time, right, that they will be warmed up, that they will have been convinced enough, educated enough to invest just a little bit into the crypto because they really like the asymmetric risk return profile of crypto. That was the number one reason why they go into it. Similarly, we have also a lot of rich people, right, who actually change their mind, right, and actually going into crypto, right? So yeah, that is, all these are facts, right? It's no longer just myths or anything like that, right? So yeah, so I believe, right, Max Dow and Joe Weisenthal, they are just short of a better phrase I can think of, I don't know what is their motive, right? But seems like they are just trying to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? That's really what I think, right? Again, my opinion, right? Why else will you say things like this, right? Because the facts are the facts, but of course, a lot of people may not even know that, right? And for a lot of stock exchange, Nasdaq, Aries X, Goldman Sachs, all going into crypto, do you think they are just like, seeing that this is really something that will fail? No, I don't think so, right? Because these people have a lot of resources and have a lot of, people who are very smart working for them, looking very deep into this space, right? And have a lot of insiders as well who talk to one another, right? Of what is happening. They know exactly what is happening. And that is why they are putting their money, right? This is not just, it's not just what they talk, it's actually what they do, right? They are actually putting their money, resources behind this new technology, right? Cryptocurrency, yeah? And that ought to tell you what actually is happening. Whereas, you have these two person here talking, right? But honestly, right, I rather follow the actions of people who are rich, right? And rather just listen to people talk, yeah? Next, Bitcoin volumes in Venezuela plummet during nationwide blackout. So they had the super difficult time as the country's power grid in Venezuela shut off on March 7, leaving the majority of Venezuelan states with no electricity for well over 1 week. Although at March 14, electricity has been restored throughout most states within the country, but during the week-long blackout, Bitcoin trades on the peer-to-peer exchange, local Bitcoins have plummeted by 40%. So we have already news like last few weeks that Venezuela, the trading volume in Venezuela in across all peer-to-peer exchange are increasing at record level, and that's because people there really realize that there's a lot of merit to using Bitcoin, because in the country where they have experienced over 1,000,000% of inflation, that means prices are increasing at over 1,000,000%. That basically means that their local currency has no value at all, right? That whereas Bitcoin has that much more value and is much more stable. Although we think it is so volatile, it is so much more stable than their local currency, which experienced 1,000,000% inflation. So they have all flocked to getting their hands on Bitcoin, right? Because this will ensure them to get even just basic necessities like milk, or bread, right? Even just things like that, right? But first, in fact, it is easier for them to get their hands on Bitcoin than getting that necessity, because it is really, really hard to get hold of things anymore, because everyone is just getting their hands, right, to hoard the goods, because the next day or even just the next minute, the prices of goods will be higher, right, than the minute before. So that's why it's very hard. And in such a country, I believe, right, I don't think it is by accident. I believe there is some reasons behind, and I believe it is, some, how do I say, it is it is not pure incidence, not pure coincidence that the power grid is shut off. I believe the government is trying to send a message, right, to the people. And because of that, it is going to make them very, very difficult to get hold of Bitcoin. And after that, after the week-long shut off, they have to sell their Bitcoin at lower prices than the US standards, just so that, right, they can get rid of their Bitcoin and get more liquidity. So not easy, but in such a country, you really, really, right, appreciate them. How important is something like Bitcoin, where it is censorship resistant, right, and really it is a much better store of value versus something like their local currency, right? And the other thing is this, it also shows the vulnerability of Bitcoin, of cryptocurrency, because you are reliant on power grid. But of course, in most other countries, right, really, you have to shut off the internet basically for some time. So then, right, people don't have their cryptocurrency. But then again, right, that's why it is also important for people to have some gold and some cash, at home or in somewhere safe. So you always have some alternatives as well. That's really my opinion, right? That even though you have cryptocurrency, regardless of whatever happens, it is also important to have some hard assets like gold, right? Who you still can use them in a occurrence of a power shutdown, and of course have some cash at home, right? Especially for people in developed countries, right? That's really just what I think. In case of something like this, some emergencies like this happening in developed countries, yeah. Next, Mercado Libre dumps crypto days after PayPal's 750 million investment. So Mercado Libre is a Latin American e-commerce giant with presence in nearly 20 countries that recently started a warning users that cryptocurrency-related listings will be banned from its platform. And interestingly, they just made these announcements just days after receiving 700 million capital investments from PayPal. And local news outlet Criptomiras Fiscal reports that Brazil alone, one of the 18 countries Mercado Libre serves, there are over 5,630 Bitcoin-related ads and over 9,320 cryptocurrency-related listings. XRP reported that the most popular cryptocurrency on the Latin American platform appears in more than 11,000 ads, right? So again, this is very interesting. As you know, cryptocurrency is a direct competition to PayPal, because PayPal is belong to the old world, right? The old world, traditional world of payment processor, right? Which basically enables you to pay anything across the globe, right? But of course, PayPal is also quite instant. But the fact that it is centralized, that means PayPal have the choice, and they have done it, that they can censor anyone that they don't think that they want to accept payment from, and they have done it actually. So, and that is the problem, because there is that dependency, right? And there's the central point. So there's always that risk, and which Bitcoin and major cryptocurrencies doesn't have, right? And everything is very transparent. You can't censor anyone, right? Because it's just a maps. They don't care whether you are male, female, what ideology you have, right? What kind of religion you have. So how rich or how poor you are, you can still pay via Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, right? Then in that sense, it is much more superior. And right, and this act of a company that has just got a huge capital injection from PayPal, banning crypto-related listings, ads, right, or even just sales of their product on this platform, clearly shows that they are clearly threatened, right? They are clearly they feel the threat from this new technology, and I see this as a positive thing, right? Although yes, I understand that of course for the people there it is very tough for them to do, but you must understand also this signifies that they are clearly afraid that this is going to harm them. That's why they go out of their way to actually stop it. But the fact is, then we can just point to this kind of examples to say, right, this is a clear case and clear use case, right, why we need crypto, because of power of just a company, a firm, able to stop people from listing, stop it. Don't have the freedom. You basically eliminated of your basic human right, the freedom to just publish something for sale, right, despite you're paying money. No, you don't have that freedom, right? This is, again, you can flip this around and use this as a positive use case for why we need crypto, right? Next, Consensus founder Joseph Lubin talks about Ethereum at SXSW 2019. So Joseph Lubin, co-founder of Ethereum and co-founder of Consensus, he has given his thoughts on a wide range of topics, right, in Austin, Texas. And he then also had an interview with Manu Somorodi, who produced the popular blockchain-focused podcast Zigzag. Among others, right, the key things he said is Ethereum can currently handle somewhere between 14 and 27 transactions per second. This is just the layer 1. And layer 2 is a scalability layer, which can handle up to 1 million transactions per second by the end of 2019. This is super key. And that will only happen about 18 to 24 months away, right? And why is that possible? Is because they are going to move to proof of stake, which means they were going to use much less electricity and no special hardware will be needed to run a node as well. So the other thing is he singled out a crypto project that he think is super promising, which is MakerDAO, right? And that is very, very interesting. So few key takeaways here. One is you see Ethereum as although they are generally very quiet, and I see this as a very good thing that they are coming out and talk more about what they are going to do, right, about their capability. And of course, do remember that just few days ago, there was a report by an independent company that looked at the active developers working on projects. Ethereum is the number one project, even above Bitcoin, right? So very, very good news for Ethereum. And they just need more publicity like this, right? To remind people that they are working on something very cool, right? But they just need more time to actually before it comes alive, right? And that's very good. Next, Bitcoin is not a great store of value, according to Yale professor. So Yale Insights interviewed Professor William N. Gottsman, a teacher of finance and management studies, about the advent of cryptocurrency. Discussions centered around the purpose and value of money. The article says in part that Bitcoin's volatility underscores the challenge of establishing the trust needed for a widely useful currency. But the proliferation of cryptocurrencies also shows that traditional government-backed cryptocurrencies don't address everyone's needs. Quote, there are a few basic things any currency has to fulfill. It has to be a store of value. It has to be a method for transferring value. With Bitcoin, because it fluctuates so much, it's not a particularly good store of value. You could put $100 worth today and it could be worth $25 2 weeks from now. Until it overcomes that particular feature, it's not a great currency. But to be fair, overall his comments are more it's more a neutral one. He's trying to be balanced, but at the same time, yes, what he says is a fair point that one problem or one issue that a lot of huge money are still not yet in this space is because still of the huge volatility, and prices have gone down so much now compared to its peak of $20,000, right? Two ways to look at it. One is, of course, it can just lose value like that, right? 5 times less in about 1 year, versus you can also flip it around and say that because of that, right, it is such a good deal now, it is on sale now, so why don't you get in, yeah? But regardless, I think the volatility, especially negative volatility, is what scared people off, right? But do you remember, this is a new asset. It takes time for people to fully understand, right? Because people don't know what value to actually put around this, right? And especially there was so much negative news as well, right? That Nouriel Roubini and Warren Buffett, every now and then they'll come out say something negative about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So people are reacting more quickly, right, to negative news than positive news. So that is why, right, we still have a very tight range of market pricing, and that is why Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is still on sale now, right? And that also lies the opportunity for people to get in, yeah? Next, last, crypto enthusiasts unite in 4 Indian cities to voice regulatory suggestions. A community roadshow has been uniting crypto enthusiasts in several cities in India to share their views on the country's crypto regulation. The best ones will be included in the report to be submitted to the decision makers amongst the government. The organizer of the events explained. So this is what happened, is that, right, in India, as you know, the government has yet to issue a crypto regulation, but the central bank has actually come out very, very negatively. They are actually banning anyone to use crypto. So if you are trading any kind of crypto, you cannot open an account with any commercial banks there. And they even have a screening method to say that, to ask you, are you trading or buying or selling cryptocurrency? If yes, you cannot open an account. Even before you open the account, they have this kind of questionnaire to screen people and just basically bar people from even entering the banking because you are participating in crypto. And this is despite the regulations ever banning crypto yet, right? So that is the reason why people power are rising. They organize 4 meetup, right, gatherings among people who are investors or business operators, lawyers, researchers, anyone who have an interest in cryptocurrency space to meet, right, and gather good comments or good feedback. So to answer the question, does India need crypto regulations? And all this will be compiled into a report to be submitted to the government, right? Because the federal court has actually given the government 4 weeks till end of March to actually come up with a crypto regulation, and then they will hear the argument from the central bank why they are against cryptocurrency, right? And this is super good because they this is clearly the people taking their own taking charge, right, in and in 4 largest cities in India: Mumbai, Hyderabad, Delhi, right, and Bangalore, right, where they gather all these key people to actually put forth, right, their strongest argument, and show that, right, the people voice are very, very important. And this is, I think, only cryptocurrency being such a new invention and can have such galvanizing force, right? And that, I think, is another beauty about cryptocurrency. So yes, basically, I think at the end of the day, today's message is really just, right, keep strong, right, and don't let the people who just have some comments sway you from your belief about why cryptocurrency is important and why, right, everyone, in my opinion, should have a little bit of money, at least, just to have some exposure. This is just in case, right? And because of that, asymmetric risk return profile, right? And don't just let people who have something to say to sway you or to scare you, right? Really see what the big money are doing, right? See their actions, And I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. And yes, I thank you all of your support, right? And for everyone who's watching, I clearly thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, and hope you're having a great day, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.